The North Atlantic, a realm of legend and lore, sailors spoke of its fury in hushed tones, but none of these tales compared to the dread whispered with a fearful glance. The Kraken, a creature of the deep, a leviathan of immense size and power. The Kraken, they said, could swallow ships whole. Its tentacles, thick as masts, reached up from the abyss. They dragged unsuspecting vessels and their crews to watery graves. The Kraken's legend became a warning, a reminder of the untamed power that lay beneath the waves. Captain Elias Gray knew these tales well. He had sailed the North Atlantic since he was a boy. His heart held no fear for the wild sea. He respected its power. He understood its capricious nature. But Elias carried a burden, a darkness in his past. It was a shadow cast by the Kraken itself.
Years ago, I watched helplessly as the Kraken claimed my brother's ship. The memory of that day is seared into my soul. The monstrous tentacles, the screams swallowed by the waves, the crushing finality of it all. It was a debt I swore I would repay. I will find the Kraken and I will have my vengeance.
Elias was a man hardened by the sea. His eyes burned with a fierce determination. He gathered his crew, a motley band of sailors as tough as the sea itself. The journey was fraught with peril. Towering waves crashed over the deck. Howling winds threatened to rip the sails to shreds, but Elias pressed on. Each danger faced, each storm weathered, only strengthened his resolve. He studied old charts and listened to whispered tales from seasoned sailors. He pieced together clues to the Kraken's whereabouts. Weeks turned into months. The sun, a pale ghost in the northern sky, offered little warmth. The icy grip of the Arctic tightened around the albatross. Still, Elias refused to yield. He pushed his crew and his ship to their limits.
The crew, hardened seamen though they are, began to murmur. I, sensing their unease, rallied them with tales of my brother. I fueled their courage with the promise of vengeance.
The albatross creaked and groaned as it was pulled towards the swirling abyss. Terror gripped the hearts of the crew. Men scrambled for purchase on the tilting deck. The whirlpool roared, a deafening symphony of water and fury. The albatross, caught in its grip, spun closer and closer to the edge. Then, from the depths, a sound like thunder echoed through the water. The ship lurched violently. A monstrous tentacle, thicker than the albatross itself, broke the surface. Panic surged through the crew. Men cried out, their voices lost in the roar of the whirlpool.
His eyes, fixed on the maelstrom, burned with a chilling intensity. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. But Elias stood his ground. He raised his voice above the tumult. He reminded his men of their duty, their courage, and the debt they owed to those the Kraken had taken. His words steadied the crew.
The sea swirled, a chaotic ballet of man and monster. The albatross, tossed about like a toy boat, threatened to capsize at any moment.
Harpoons! Elias roared, his voice a weapon against the storm. The crew, inspired by their captain's unwavering resolve, sprang into action. They launched harpoon after harpoon into the Kraken's flesh. The creature roared in pain, its grip on the albatross momentarily loosening, but Elias refused to give up. He knew this was his only chance. He had to face the creature.
Summoning all his strength, Elias grabbed a harpoon. He attached a rope to it. With a mighty heave, he hurled the harpoon towards the Kraken's massive head.
As he was pulled closer, Elias noticed something entangled around the Kraken's massive tentacles. A shipwreck. Its timbers were old and rotten, but he recognized the figurehead. It was his brother's ship. His heart pounded in his chest. It was not a monster that had taken his brother. It was a creature protecting its territory from intruders. The Kraken's eye met Elias's again. This time, Elias saw understanding in its depths. He let go of the rope. The Kraken, sensing the shift in Elias, stopped its thrashing. It slowly uncoiled its tentacles from the shipwreck. The creature released its grip on the albatross, letting the battered ship drift free.
Elias watched as the Kraken sank beneath the waves. He carried a new understanding in his heart. Returning to shore, Elias shared his tale.